Hello guys, welcome to another video here on the pre-security learning part, and we're currently on network fundamentals, and today we're going into the room which is the last room here on network fundamentals, extending your network. Last video was on packets and frames, and today let's hop into extending your network. Alright, if you're just joining me or just clicking this video for the first time, I'm revising what I've learned through Tryhackme, and just making a video just to kind of like go through what I've learned just to make it stick. And today we're studying or learning the extending your network room. Here we're going to learn about some of the technologies used to extend networks out onto the internet and the motivations for this. All right, the first task here is introduction to port forwarding. All right, now port forwarding is an essential component in connecting applications and services to the internet. So without port forwarding, applications and services such as the web servers are only available to devices within the same direct network. Okay, now take the network below as an example. Within this network, the server with an IP address of 192.168.1.10, okay, runs a web server on port 80. Okay, now only the two other computers on this network will be able to access it. This is known as an intranet. Okay, so this is the web server. Alright, this is the server that runs the web server on port 80, and these are the only two computers that can be able to access this web server via this router, of course. So this is network 1. Okay, now if the administrator wanted the website to be accessible to the public using the internet, remember this is an intranet, they would have to implement port forwarding like in the diagram below. Okay, so this is the intranet, then there will be a port forwarding. I guess this is how it looks, through port 80 but 82.62.51.70 IP address, going to the internet, and then okay, let's just see what happens. Now with this design, network 2 will now be able to access the web server, which this is network 2, I guess, which is in blue. This is the blue one, network 2. Okay, now with this design, network 2 will now be able to access the web server running on network 1 using the public IP address of the network 1, which is 82.62.51.70. That's the public address. Now it is easy to confuse port forwarding with the behaviors of a firewall, a technology we'll come on to discuss in later tasks. Now, however, at this stage, just understand that port forwarding opens specific ports. Recall how packets work. Okay, all right, now it opens the specific ports, and in comparison, firewalls determine if traffic can travel across these ports, even if these ports are open by port forwarding. All right, now port forwarding is configured at the router of a network. What is the name of the device that is used to configure port forwarding? The router. Great, now we're done with task 1. Task 2. Task 2 is the Firewalls 101. Now, a firewall is a device within a network responsible for determining what traffic is allowed to enter and exit, just like a wall. This determines what comes in and goes out of a particular network. Now, think of a firewall as a border security for a network. An administrator can configure a firewall to permit or deny traffic from entering or exiting a network based on numerous factors such as 1. Where the traffic is coming from. Has the firewall been told to accept or deny traffic from a specific network? Now, where is the traffic going to? Has the firewall been told to accept or deny traffic destined for a specific network? Okay. Now, what port is the traffic for? Has the firewall been told to accept or deny traffic destined for port 80 only? Now, what protocol is the traffic using? Now, has the firewall been told to accept or deny traffic that is using UDP or TCP or both? Now, firewalls perform packet inspections to determine the answers to these questions. So they check these packets to confirm, to inspect this particular network, coming into, or the traffic coming into the network. Now, firewalls come in all shapes and sizes, from dedicated piece of hardware, often found in large networks like businesses, right, that can handle a magnitude of data, to residential routers like at your home, or software such as SNOT. Firewalls can be categorized into 2 to 5 categories. One, we'll cover the 2 primary categories of firewalls in the table below: stateful or stateless firewalls. All right. Now, the first is the stateful firewalls. This type of firewalls or use the entire information from a connection rather than inspecting an individual packet. This firewall determines the behavior of a device based upon the entire connection. Okay, so now this firewall type consumes many resources in comparison to stateless firewalls, as the decision making is dynamic. For example, a firewall could allow the first part of a TCP handshake that would later fail. If a connection from a host is bad, it will block the entire device. So stateful looks like it's more dynamic. And stateless, the firewall type uses a static set of rules to determine whether or not an individual packets are acceptable or not. Now, for example, a device sending a bad packet would not necessarily mean that the entire device is then blocked. Now, while this firewall use much fewer resources than alternatives, they are much dumber. Okay, for example, these firewalls are only effective as the rules that are defined within them. So if a rule is not exactly matched, it is effectively useless. However, these firewalls are great when receiving large amounts of traffic from a set of hosts, such as the distributed denial of service attacks, DOS attacks. Okay, now what layers of the OSI model do firewalls operate at? Layers of OSI model. Let's look at the hints first. I think it should be on the network, transport or network. Okay, let me just see. So provide the layers replacing the following X and Y with the appropriate layers in the ascending order. That is 1, 2, layer X, layer Y. Okay, ascending order. So we're looking at layer the network, which is layer 4. No, layer 3 actually. Layer 3 and layer 4. I got that. So it's actually on the transport layer and the network layer. This is the layers where we can put in the firewalls. So what category of firewalls inspect the entire connection? The entire connection is stateful. Now, what category of firewalls inspect individual packets? Individual packets, stateless. So they are specific. Alright, now let's get into task 3. We're going to do a practical, I guess. Deploy the static sites attached to this task. You must correctly configure the firewall to prevent the device from overloading to receive the flag. Okay, what's the flag? Alright, let's see. Alright, now the website at 203.0.1.110.1 is under attack. Quickly add some firewall rules to stop the server from crashing. Then the packets in red are from the attacker's machine. Start simulation. Okay. 203. Let's look. Alright, so we're going to stop this. So the source IP is 198. No, where's 198? 198. Destination port is 203.110. Oh my god. 203.0.110. Now this is port 80. Drop add row. You have other options here though to drop or pass, so I guess we just stop to that. Okay. Alright, great. And then next, task 4, VPN Basics. Now, a virtual private network, or VPN for short, is a technology that allows devices on separate networks to communicate securely by creating a dedicated path between each other over the internet, known as a tunnel. Devices connected within the tunnel form their own private network, so more like different devices from different parts of the world can connect privately using a VPN. For example, only devices within the same network, such as within a business, can directly communicate. However, a VPN allows two offices to be connected. Now, let's take the diagram below, where there are three networks. Okay, so we have network 1, network 2, and network 3. Okay, 2. These ones are network 2. Okay, network 2, network 3. Let's see. Network 1 is office 1. This is it. Network 2 is office 2. Network 3 is two devices connected via a VPN. Okay, so the whole of this office, this is the whole of another office, but this device is part of this office, which is part of this network, I believe. No, these two, network 3. Let's just go through it. I'm sorry. All right, now let's see. So we say the devices connected on network 3 are still part of network 1 and network 2, just exactly what I was thinking, but also form together to create a private network. All right. That only private network that only devices that are connected via the VPN can communicate over. So only these two computers can communicate over a particular network, and to be able to do that, you have to set the three of them, the two with a virtual private network. Okay. Now let's cover some of the other benefits offered by a VPN in the table. Now, benefit 1 allows networks in different geographical locations to be connected. For example, a business with multiple offices will find VPNs beneficial, as it means that resources like server infrastructure can be accessed from another office. Now, offers privacy. VPN technologies uses encryption to protect data. This means that it can only be understood between the devices it was being sent from and is destined for, meaning the data isn't vulnerable to sniffing. Okay. Now, this encryption is useful in places with public Wi-Fi where no encryption is provided by the network. You can use a VPN to protect your traffic from being viewed by other people. Okay. Offers anonymity. Journalists and activists depend upon VPNs to safely report on global issues in countries where freedom of speech is controlled. All right. Now, usually, like a situation where here right now I'm in China, so for me to be able to access so many websites or social media accounts, I have to use a VPN, because more like in China, they don't allow that particular network, something of that nature. So usually, your traffic can be viewed by your ISP and other intermediaries, and therefore tracked. So now the level of anonymity a VPN provides is only as much as how other devices on the network respect privacy. For example, a VPN that logs all of your data or history is essentially the same as not using a VPN in this regard, because obviously you can be able to probably hack a VPN. Tryhackme uses a VPN to connect you to our vulnerable machines without making them directly accessible on the internet. This means that you can securely interact with our machines. Service providers such as ISPs don't think you are attacking another machine on the internet, which could be against the terms of service, of course. Now, the VPN provides security to Tryhackme, as vulnerable machines are not accessible using the internet. Nice. Now, the VPN technology has improved over the years. Let's explore some existing VPN technologies below. Now, VPN technology 1, which is called PPP. This technology is used by PPTP, explained below, to allow for authentication and provide encryption of data. Now, VPNs work by using a private key and a public certificate, similar to SSH Secure Shell. Now, a private key and certificate must match for you to connect. Now, this technology is not capable of leaving a network by itself, non-routable. Okay. Now, PPTP. Now, the point-to-point tunneling protocol. So I'm guessing what is PPP then? point-to-point tunneling protocol, then this should just be point-to-point protocol, I guess. Now the point-to-point tunneling protocol, which is PPTP, is the technology that allows the data from PPP to travel and leave a network. These ones can't leave a network. The technology is not capable of leaving a network by itself, but this PPTP is capable. All right, I see. Now PPTP is very easy to set up and is supported by most devices. It is, however, weakly encrypted in comparison to alternatives. Yeah, IPsec. All right. I hear this a lot. Internet Protocol Security, IPsec. I hear this a lot. Encrypts data using the existing Internet Protocol IP framework. Now, IPsec is difficult to set up in comparison to alternatives. However, if successful, it boasts strong encryption and also supported on many devices. I see this a lot. Okay. Now, what VPN technology only encrypts and provide the authentication of data? Authentication of internal PPP. Yeah, I got that. And what VPN technology uses IP framework? IPsec. Let's just say, IPsec. All right, tax 5 here. Tax 5, LAN networking devices. I think we covered LAN previously, the last 2 videos, but I think they want to go in depth here. So, what is a router? Now, it's a router's job to connect networks and pass data between them. It does this by using routing, hence the name router. Routing is the label given to the process of data traveling across networks. Now, routing involves creating a path between networks so that this data can be successfully delivered. Alright, now routers operate at layer 3, which is the network, right, of the OSI model. They often feature in interactive interfaces, such as a website or a console. Now, that allows interface that allows an administrator to configure various rules such as port forwarding or firewall. Remember, when we treated firewall, layer 3 and layer 4 can be places where you can set up firewalls. Okay, now routing is useful when devices are connected by many parts, such as in the example diagram below, where the most optimal path is taken. Makes sense. 1, 2, 3, 4. So if this one is busy sending, this one can take this route, I guess. Now, routers are dedicated devices and do not perform the same functions as switches. We can see that computer A's network is connected to the network of computer B by 2 routers in the middle. All right. Now the question is, what path would be taken? Different protocols will decide what path should be taken, but factors include what path is the shortest, what path is the most reliable, and what path has the fastest medium. That is it a copper or a fiber? Makes sense. Now, what is a switch? A switch is a dedicated networking device responsible for providing a means of connecting to multiple devices. Now, it's different from routing, where routing is to route or just perform routing between networks, right? And switches can facilitate many devices from 3 to 63 using Ethernet cables. 3 to 63, okay? Switches can operate at both layer 2 and layer 3 of the OSI model. However, these are exclusive in the sense that layer 2 switches cannot operate at layer 3. Okay, then we have switches that are designed for layer 3 then. Now, take for example a layer 2 switch in the diagram below. These switches will forward frames. Remember, these are no longer packets as the IP protocol has been stripped. Okay, these switches will forward frames onto the connected devices using their MAC address. So we have router layer 2 switch does this. Now, these switches are solely responsible for sending frames to the correct device. Now, let's move on to layer 3 switches. These switches are more sophisticated than layer 2 as they can perform some of the responsibility of a router. I thought as much. Namely, these switches will send frames to devices as layer 2 does and route packets to other devices using IP protocol. Makes sense. Now, let's take a look at the diagram below of a layer 3 switch in action. We can see that there are 2 IP addresses 192.168.1.1, 192.168.2.1. Now, a technology called VLAN, Virtual Local Area Network, allows specific devices within a network to be virtually split up. Wow. Now, these splits means they can all benefit from things such as internet connection, but are treated separately. Now, this network separation provides security because it means that rules in place determine how specific devices communicate with each other. Now, this segregation is illustrated in the diagram below. So we have a router, of course. This is acting as a layer 3 switch. So this switch is splitting, performing a split between these two. And we have sales department VLAN 1, accounting department VLAN 2. They can use the same network, but they are actually different departments. Yes. Now, this separation, let's see this again. This network separation provides security because it means that rules in place determine how specific devices communicate with each other. Makes sense. Now, in the context of the diagram above, the sales department and accounting department will be able to access the internet, but not be able to communicate with each other, although they are connected to the same switch. Makes sense. What is the verb for the action that a router does? It's called routing. And what are the two different layers of switches? What are the two different layers of switches? Separate them by a comma. It's actually quite easy. Just treated layer 2 and layer 3. Okay, great. And lastly, task 6, practical network simulator. Now, deploy the static. Let's do that while it's loading. Deploy the static site attached to this task and experiment with the network simulator. Now, the simulator will break down every step a packet needs to take to get from point A to B. Try sending a TCP packet from computer 1 to computer 3 to reveal a flag. Now, note, please use the Chrome or Firefox browser to complete the practical exercise. We already opened that. Now, answer the following questions. Let's see. Now, I want to send a packet from computer 1 to computer 3 and using the TCP. Is a TCP packet, and so let's call the data high, and then we're going to send the packet. Okay, let's see what's going on. Switch 1 back to router, back to switch 2, computer 2, come back to router. I am computer 3, comes back, goes to switch 1, a computer 1. Okay, don't mind me. I'm going to see everything that happened here as soon as possible. The red is a TCP packet, the yellow is TCP handshake packets, UDP packets, ARP packets, and PIN packet. Alright, let's copy this first and let's go through what is the flag from the network simulator. Of course, that's that. Now let's go through this networking log here. First we saw a handshake starting TCP or IP handshake between computer 1 and computer 3, that when I sent high, of course. Now the handshake started by sending a SIM packet from computer 1 to computer 3, but when he sent it, now he started routing. Now computer 1 says computer 3 is not on my local network, sending to gateway router. So he sent it, but he didn't see computer 3, so he started routing. So ARP, this is the resolution protocol, the address resolution protocol request. You want to look for it. So who has router? Tell computer 1. So ARP response, hey computer 1, I'm router. That was when router responded. Okay. Now and then ARP request, who has computer 3? Tell router. Okay. Yes. Now ARP response, hey router, I'm computer 3. That's after, yes. Handshake now starts. Now computer 3 receives the SIM packet from computer 1, sending a SYN ACK packet to computer 1 for confirmation. Handshake, then computer 1 received SYN ACK packets from computer 3, sending ACK packets to computer 3 for confirmation. Now handshake, we have computer 3 received an acknowledgement packet from computer 1, and then the handshake is complete. Now TCP said that actual high I sent now finally, because they've established the connection. and then sending the TCP packet from computer 1 to computer 3, and then computer 3 receives TCP packet from computer 1, sending acknowledgement packet to computer 1. Alright, that's actually what happened. I can send this again, and this is when we'll send. Okay, although the let's see, looks like connection is already established or something. Yeah. After confirmation, then it's quite different from the first one. Well, it is what it is. All right, let me continue. Now, how many handshake entries are in the network log? Oh my god, I shouldn't have done this. Let me see. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. Handshake, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think 5. Great. All right, this is the end of the room. I'm sorry the room was kind of a little bit off. Yeah, you've completed the room. Share with your friends. Okay, the next room is DNS in details. That's probably a new particular module. And thank you for watching the video. Thank you for studying with me. I'll see you guys in the next video, and do have a nice day. Ciao.